Okay, YouTube, today I'm going to be giving you a buyer's guide for a Crown Victoria. One, you want to check all the mechanicals. That's with any other car, nothing special about this. You want to check them extra good because, well, they are beat on a lot more than other cars. Two, cosmetics, make sure, check for dings, scratches, stuff like that. I mean, it is a used car. You can't buy them new anymore. They stopped making them in 2011, so they are going to have some kind of damage, but a car, that comes from the city is going to have a lot more damage, cosmetically wise. Where'd the car come from? Who owned it? Was it a sheriff's car? Was it a patrol car? Was it a detective's car? Where'd it come from? Did it come from the city? Did it come from a rural area? Different factors like that are going to change, how the car is mechanically wise and cosmetically wise. That right there is going to affect both of these. And number four is my personal experience, what it's like since, I've owned my Crown Victoria. So mechanical. You want to give it a good overall mechanical inspection like any other car. If you don't feel comfortable doing it on your own, bring someone with you. Bring, someone that's more knowledgeable mechanical-wise, or even go to a shop. See if a mechanic, you can, pay them a couple $100, whatever it is. Maybe they'll come with you and help you inspect the car with you. I did it on my own, but something like that you could do if you don't feel comfortable. But just give it an overall good inspection. Check all the fluids on it. Make sure there's no noises. Give it a test drive. Do not buy a car without test driving it. That is number one. No matter how good the car looks. Let's say it's got a brand new paint job, new rims, new everything. Interior is perfect. And the seller tells you you can't drive it, walk away. Do not buy the car. That's a big red flag right there. Drive it. You want to make sure you want to listen for noises in the suspension. You want to listen for noises under the engine. You want to, not necessarily, drag race the car, but you want to beat on it a little bit. You want to, step on it, a couple times. See how it shifts, see how it sounds. But you also want to drive around casually. Just drive nice and quiet, turn the radio, make sure the radio's off. Because you want to listen for any kind of noise. Because any kind of noise you hear isn't necessarily something to walk away from. If it's something stupid, let's say the suspension, you hear some kind of, banging in the suspension. It could just be a simple shock that the bolt came loose. Something like that, you can knock the price down and get a much better price for it. Number two, cosmetics. You want to check the paint really well. A lot of times they're all scratched up. They got dings, dents. I mean, they get beat up. Depends on where they come from. If it's a detective's car, they're usually pretty clean. Same with like sheriff's cars, usually pretty clean. But especially if you live in the city, if you're buying a car from New York City, it's going to be beat up. Plain and simple. There's no way around it. It's going to have dings, dents. If that doesn't bother you, that works out perfect. But the white ones will have paint issues. I mean, they all flake. They all get scratched up, Mine was actually repainted when I bought my car. That was a good thing. But because of that, the seller had that against me, saying, well, we have a brand new paint job on there. So I had to, in a sense, pay more money. If you find a car that paint's beat up, once again, you don't have to walk away. You can still buy that car, just knock the seller down. Hey, listen, it's got dings, it's got some scratches, the paint's flaking off. I got to put some money into this car in order to, make it something that I feel comfortable driving. Okay? Number three is who owned the car. You always want to try to buy a car, okay, from a small town. You want to try to buy a detective's car, undercover, sheriff, fire squad, EMT, even some different, oh god, what is it, like parks, not necessarily parks, but like, small little businesses, like security businesses. They'll have Crown Victoria fleets, okay? You want to buy from them. They don't have high idle hours. They're not, you know, chasing the good old boys of Dukes County every day, or Hazard County. Okay? Those cars are going to be a lot better mechanically wise. So that's another thing you want to look for. You want to make sure that you know, try to buy a car that was not a patrol car. You could don't necessarily stay away from those cars, because you can, but just expect that most likely will go wrong with it. Geez, what else? Those are the three big main things, really. I mean, my personal experience with it, number 4, is, you know, I remember when I bought my car, the seller actually lied to me. They told me that it was an EMT car, which I thought, okay, that's fine. It kind of made sense because it was an 04 and I bought it in 2013. And when I bought it, it had 81,000 miles on it. And usually, you know, typical squad cars, you know, they go through a lot of miles. In 2 years, they have 50,000 miles on them. They go through a lot of miles, a lot of idle hours, a lot of hard running. So it made sense that it was an EMT car. But once I did, you know, once I brought the car home, I ended up buying the car. You know, once I brought it home, I cleaned up the trunk really well. It's another thing. You want to clean up the car really good. They always have garbage in them. They're super dirty. You want to clean them up. But when I went to the trunk, I found a piece of paper that said it was a Maryland, you know, police department. They didn't say which police department it was, but so you know, I was lied to. You know, there's gonna be people that are gonna lie to you. You know, I don't think it's that big a deal, because so far I've been pretty lucky with my car. I mean, there's just gonna be some kind of problem. You're not gonna buy a car that's gonna be absolutely perfect, trouble-free for 200,000 miles. You're gonna have to put some kind of money into it somewhere, some way. I mean, even if it's as simple as just buying new tires for it. You know, I bought mine with newer tires on it. But not every department. Each department, when they sell their car, they do different things. Sometimes they'll keep the equipment on. You know, they'll put the tires on other Crown Victorias. You know, they'll keep the tires on. It just all depends on where you buy the car. Okay. Okay, now I'm going to show you the things you want to look for when you buy these cars. So, let's just start with the interior. Alright, things you want to look for when you buy these cars. 1, the interior is going to be super dirty. When I bought this, I mean, there was food underneath the you know, steering column here. There's like peanut shells. I mean, the back seat, super dirty. You know, we want to pull that back seat out. Check what's, you know, under the seat. You know, you got to think, they have convicts back here. You know, they have all different kinds of people coming in and out of these cars. You know, people stuff shit in the seat. You want to give it a good overall cleaning. Same with the outside. You know, the outside gets real dirty. That's not a big deal though. But just clean the interior really well. Get under the seat. You know, I have the rubber flooring, which is good, easy cleanup. You know, something that has a carpet might have some stains, but a lot of times, you know, the carpets come in you know, detectives' cars and stuff like that. They're more of like a specialty car. You know, you're probably gonna have holes in your dash. I had 2 holes here. That's kind of why I put the car here, to cover up the holes. You know, I didn't have this. I didn't have an ashtray cover when I bought my car. You know, I had to buy that from the junkyard. Center console, I didn't have that when I bought it. You know, this is a nice luxury to have. I had like a metal bracket, and it has like the pole. I think that was for their you know, their computer. You just overall want to clean the interior really well. You know, the seats will tend to get ripped up, especially here, and here. The seats get ripped up. Mine's a little beat up, not that bad, but this car is in pretty good shape when I got it. It was just dirty, that's all. You know, I put the matting in, or the mats, not matting, but you know, plenty of room back here, which is great. But just check everything really well. Pull the seat out, like this comes right out. See? Slides right out. You know, clean in there really good. Just get all the garbage out, you know. You know what's in there. You could have drugs in there, you know. Cool thing about these, I don't know if you can hear it. There's metal in the back of the seats. It's got stab-proof seating, which is pretty cool. But you know, just check everything. Just, you know, like they left their brackets here or something like that. It's kind of cool to have. You could always put something there if you wanted. I have a bracket up front by my mirror. They left the bracket there too, which is good. You know, just, it's going to be dirty. The outside when I bought it was super dirty. Had to clean it. Under here when I bought it, all these wires were all dangling down, you know, something like that might be a little risky. I took the risk and I did buy it. But when I bought it, my trunk release didn't work. Actually, but the trunk release down there, and the door also didn't work. Both my trunk releases didn't work. The windows didn't work. What else didn't work? My blinkers didn't work. And my rear defrost didn't work. Everything else worked. This all worked, air conditioning, all that. The horn, to this day, still doesn't work. We can't figure out how to get my horn working. But, you know, you might run into electrical issues. Convicts tear these cars apart. You know, that's what they do. When they retire the cars, they have the convicts pull the equipment off, all the lights, you know, all that kind of stuff. So they don't give a shit. They're in jail. They could care less. Something like that, you know. You know, some of them don't even have glove boxes. I have a glove box on mine, which is nice. Some of them are just open. You know, they keep stuff in there, other equipment. They'll keep, I don't know what they keep in there, actually. But, sometimes they don't even have a glove box. So, you know, shit like that, you know, it makes it less of an inconvenient car, you know. It makes it, I mean, more of an inconvenient car. If you don't have this, you know, basic things in a car. Like, I didn't have this, and it was very annoying. I had my center console. Now that I have this, it's, you know, a lot nicer to have. We'll check, I'll start it up so you can hear what it sounds like. That's, you want to check all the mechanicals. You know, it should sound like this when you start it up. Okay, nice and smooth, no weird noises, no nothing. Okay, something like this you want to check real good, because you want to hear for any kind of noises, pinging, anything like that. Before you start it up though, you want to check your oil, which is right here, the oil dipstick. You want to check the level on that. Check it when it's cold. Make sure you buy the car cold. Do not buy it when they're just driving the car. A cold engine will tell you everything. Once the car is warmed up, you go for a test drive. Check the training fluid. That's right there. Check the coolant before you start it up, and then also after you buy it, because I mean after you know, take it for a test drive, because the coolant level will change. You know. You could have a coolant leak like what I had. Right here, the thermostat housing was cracked right there, and I had to replace my intake manifold. That cost me $800. The intake manifold itself alone was $500. So, I mean, you're at the, you know, stuff like that, you gotta just check for real good. You wanna check for coolant leaks, you wanna check under the car. Check under the car really well. Check for oil leaks. Check for scratches under the car. You know, make sure the frame isn't all scratched up. No damage like that, no frame damage. You know, who knows what this car was used for. Check the body panels real good. Make sure they all line up. If they don't line up, well, it could have been into an accident. I mean, me personally, I've had to put some money into it. I've had to do my rear end. I got new pinion bearings on my rear end. That was I think actually another $800 job for the pinion bearings. Something like that wasn't a necessity though. I probably could have went a while with them whining a little bit, but I don't know, it just annoyed me that my car was making noise, so got that done. Intake manifold, $800, that I had to get done. I was leaking coolant. At first I couldn't figure out where it was coming from, then lo and behold, it was leaking right from the thermostat housing. But I mean, you want to just listen for noises really well. You know, we'll take it for a little test drive. You want to make sure it runs nice and smooth. You want to get on it a little bit, you know. So let's take it for a little drive. Now when you go for a test drive, keep a lookout for any kind of noise, suspension noise, transmission, you know, noise, engine-wise. You don't want to get on it the whole time. Make sure your windows are closed. Don't leave your windows open. Unless it's really hot, then, you know, I guess put the AC on or, you know, open the windows up. But just, you know, get on a little bit. You know, that wasn't even that much gas. I was giving a little bit of gas, but just get on a little bit. You want to hear how it sounds. You want it's going to throw you back in your seat. You want it to pull you. It doesn't throw you back in your seat. You know, it's real sluggish, something like that. Well, you know, could be something wrong with the motor. Maybe it's a really good tune-up. You know, something like that's kind of hard to say. Depending on the miles, you know, the engine could be really tired. You're also going to want to check, maybe go in like a parking lot, you know, and just cut the wheel. Just keep going circles, cut the wheel as hard as you can. If you're some kind of clicking or something, you know, could need anything. Could need you know, new bearings or something like that. You know, you just want to give it a good test drive. Right now I'm just casually driving, trying to listen for things, you know. See how it shifts when you're just casually driving around. You want it to shift, you know, nice and tight. No you know, sluggish, you know, gear changing, nothing like that. You know, check the AC, see how that works. You know, mine blows ice cold. That's definitely a plus depending on where you live. If you live in somewhere cold, I guess you really don't need AC. But, you know, where I am, it, you know, gets hot and cold, so you need to have both. You know, shake the wheel back and forth. See how it feels. Should have no play in the wheel. It should be nice and tight, no pull to either side, you know. I had an issue where under real light throttle my car would like buck. We couldn't figure out what it was, and all we did is I ended up just changing spark plugs, ended up being fine. So something like that, you know, it could just be simple things that affect the drivability of the car. Sometimes these motors can be a little finicky. So something like this parking lot here, just, you know, maybe try to just cut the wheel both directions, left and right, all the way, see if you hear anything. Try to get into a main road like this, you know, step on it, see how the car rides. sound like that, throw you back in your seat. It should pull real good. You know, these cars are quick. They're not the fastest cars. They're not, you know, quarter mile, you know, kings, but they should throw you back in your seat. These 4.6 V8s they're pretty peppy. They're not, you know, raw horsepower, but they're more torque. So something like that, just step on it real good, should throw you right back. You know, even if you're at a dead stop and you step on it, your tire should be burning out. Brakes should feel good. You know, these all have ABS, standard equipment, so, you know, this thing should stop pretty well. A lot of it's just basic, you know, basic things you look for when you're buying a car to begin with. You know, but mechanics on these, and especially cosmetics, you want to check a little bit better because, you know, they have a lot more wear and tear than other cars with, you know, same amount of miles. You know, 100,000 miles on a, you know, a used police interceptor is like a car with a regular car with 180,000 miles, you know, 200,000 miles. You know, they're built to last, they're strong cars, they're tanks. You know, these cars go for 400,000 miles. I've even seen some with 500,000 miles on them, you know. So you can get a lot of miles out of them, but you gotta properly maintain them, you know. Don't skimp out on transmission fluid changes. You know, you want to make sure all that's good. You know, at idle should be nice and quiet. Can't really hear anything. I mean, you can hear the engine running, but still quiet. No ticking, no nothing like that. Nice and smooth. It's not, you know, the revs aren't going up and down. Nice and smooth. Just a short little test drive like that will give you an overall feel for the car. You want to have a nice balance of, you know, driving around in town. You also want to have, you know, try to get on some kind of main road. Step on it, open it up. You want to see how it feels, you know. You know, I only gave a little bit of gas and it's, you know, it's pulling already. I only gave it a quarter throttle. You know, these cars are super torquey. When you step on it, it's going to throw you back in your seat. And the noise these engines make, oh my god, phenomenal. Love the way a Crown Vic sounds. You know, even listen for noise under the dash, you know. If you got some weird noise going on, you put the heater or AC on, you know, drive with that on, drive with the AC on. If it makes some kind of noise, well, that could be an issue too. You know, if you put the heat on and you hear some kind of noise, you know, under your dash as well, that could be some other kind of issue, you know. It all just keep a lookout for any kind of noises, you know. Some little things rattling, stuff like that, not a really big deal, you know, but other noises, you know, don't walk away from a car with strange noises. Most things would be pretty easy to fix. It's just, okay, after you're done test driving the car, open the hood again, check under the hood, make sure everything's good. Check underneath, see if it's leaking coolant. Check for anything like that, you know, nothing here. But just check. You know, see if driving around, change anything. Check the hose, you want to be nice and hot. That's hot, you know, it's get up to temp, that's good. You're not going to need a thermostat, nothing like that. You know, just make sure it still sounds good, everything's good, you know, once you're done test driving it. You know, same with turn it off. Once you turn it off, sometimes cars will act a little different too. Oh, also, you want to check the exhaust. You know, a bunch of excess smoke, you know, if it's putting out white smoke, well, you know, you're probably burning oil. That's something that's going to be expensive. That you might want to stay away from. So, that's pretty much it for this. Let's just do a general overview, and then should be able to wrap this up. Alright, one more thing that I did forget to mention in my walk around before is check those lines down there. If I can get the camera down there. See those oil lines? These lines here, okay. Those lines down there, they connect to the oil cooler. Oil cooler's right down there. Here, I'll show you. See? Here's a coolant hose right here. It comes right from the overflow. Okay. Goes down, there's a coolant hose right there. Right down there is the oil cooler. Those lines down there, as the car gets old, they'll tend to seep. You know, they'll start dripping oil from there. I actually had to replace that. I don't remember how much that cost me. I think it was like 200 bucks, wasn't that expensive. But something like that I did have to do. So just another little thing to look out for, you know, when you're buying these cars. So. Now pretty much a few other things you want to look for is, if you're looking at a Crown Vic, okay, you want to try to buy one that's 03 and up. Preferably I really wouldn't get an 03, I get an 04 and up. But you can get an 03. The reason for that is 2003 they upgraded the rack and pinion steering. You know, the suspension's all upgraded compared to the older styles. The old style ones, they had really old suspension setup. The 03s and up, they're much more modern suspension. They ride a lot nicer, handle better. You know, they're also more durable too, the suspension on the 03s and up. But the reason why I wouldn't get an 03, I get an 04 and up, is because 04 and up, they got the 4R75W transmissions. The, you know, 03s and below, they got the 4R70W transmission. Those are more prone to failure, you know. Once again, it's not something you can, you know, you have to walk away from, but me personally, I wanted the better transmission, I wanted the better suspension, so I was really looking for an 04 and up Crown Vic. You know, if you want something different with the Crown, if you want like a Crown Vic that's unique for 1 year, get an 05. They're the only year that has the antenna on the back quarter panel. You know, after 04 and up, they're all the same. You know, all the parts are interchangeable. I mean, they're all the same. My rims, I had the 7-slot rims, the 16-inch. Those are actually prone to rusting. So if you do have an 04 or even just any older Crown Vic, you know, 98, 99, whatever, you have the, you know, older style Crown Vics, probably be a good idea to get the 17-inch rims, which I do plan on getting eventually. Because of my style, especially my style, they're, you know, prone to rusting. And actually mine is trying to do a little bit now, so I'll probably just buy new rims once I, you know, buy new tires for my car. But, that's pretty much it. We went over everything. Went over mechanics, you know, went over who bought the car, cosmetics, you know, my personal experience. Also, if you buy a car from someone, check the back tires. If the back tires are bald, well, I'm pretty sure you know what they were doing with it. They were probably doing burnouts and doing donuts in a parking lot at 2 o'clock in the morning, you know. So, something like that, you know, you don't want a car that's... If you're going to buy a beat-up Crown Vic, you want one that's beat up from the police department, you know, a township, not beat up from someone that bought the car and beat on it themselves, because they're not going to take care of it nowhere near the level that township takes care of them, you know. The reason why these cars go for so many miles is because they are well maintained. Even though they're beat to hell, they're well maintained. So as long as you buy one, if there's a couple issues here and there, you fix them, you know, as long as you maintain it, you'll be good. If you don't maintain it, you know, you can buy a car with 80,000 miles on it, 50,000 miles. You don't maintain it, it's not going to last you, and that goes for any car, regardless, you know, if it's Ford, you know, Hyundai, whatever it is, Hondas, Chevys. You have to maintain any car you own. So don't think because, oh, well, they'll go for a lot of miles, I don't have to take that good care of it. Complete opposite. You got to take really good care of it, and it will last you a long time. So, you know, that's pretty much it. So, you know, any kind of questions, comments, let me know down in the comment section. I'll gladly answer any questions you have, anything like that. So, I mean, that pretty much wraps this up. You know, it's going to be the same as buying any car. Just make sure you check everything really well, talk to the seller, get answers from them, you know, figure out the overall history of the car. Also check the Carfax. Mine didn't really have anything on my Carfax. The last recorded thing when I bought the car, because I bought it in 2013, the last recorded Carfax report was like 2009, I think. It was, it said rear end collision. But when I checked it back, there was no damage, nothing like that. So, you know, the Carfax is pretty much useless. I mean, at least for mine it was. Maybe another car might have a better chance with the Carfax, give you better over history of the car. You know, so, I mean, that's pretty much it. I'm going to be wrapping this video up, and have a great day.